This is my Year 2 final FMP presentation. Before I started this course, I knew very little about music theory, production and engineering. Before I started this course, I reached a grade 4 in music GCSEs. I didn't know anything about the software like Logic Pro or nor how to mix or sample. Back in school, we used a software called Ignite to produce tracks. Now I will be playing a snippet of one of my tracks I created when I was 14 years old. Back then I was heavily into creating electric beats like this one. Since I've started this college, my producing skills have improved. This course has given me the basic knowledge of sound engineering, sound manipulation throughout multiple projects in year 1. This improved my practical and tactical skills. In last year's FMP, I created an EP which was heavily inspired by an opium label. Main influence artists were Playboy Carti, Homicide Gang and even Yeet. Here is a view of one of my tracks that was in the EP. My teacher told me that my proposal was a really good part of my FMP and my planning was well written. I need to stick with the steps of my plan and document my process because this worked well. My peers said that my tracks on my FMP turned out great but were lacking vocals. My teacher told me that my end results of my tracks turned out really good but I lacked detail describing the process. I didn't describe the process of miking up the drums well enough. I didn't say why I put the mics at the height, angle or where they were placed. I didn't even say what benefits those different positions had. All I said that I preferred it to the other mic methods. I passed the FMP and will improve on the amount of detail I add towards my research and breaking down the process, answering questions such as why am I doing this and why is it benefiting me. The feedback I got from my teacher was that he told me that I need to add more detail into all of the areas of presentation except for the context, which was excellent. He said I need more work on the planning to use the 15 minutes of presentation. He told me for my practical skills I needed more details, giving detailed explanations of the instruments and sounds I am using. At the end of last year, I did a week of work experience working for a sound and engineering company called Autograph. During my time there, I worked in many of the different sections. This includes working on cables, wires, working on comms, working on microphones, working on the radios and much more. One day we went out to work at the West Side Theatre on the Tina Turner show. The day was sectioned up into 3 parts. I was partnered up with a mentor where I spent the morning checking all the equipment is ready and prepared. In the afternoon I worked behind scenes working on the mics and the comms, and in the evening for the final show I worked at the front of house on the mixing desk for all the cue-ins, bringing in and out all the different mics and actors and actresses and also the music. Behind college work I produce tracks at home. I mainly produce hip hop and rap tracks, but I have made other genres such as D&B, techno, funk, Memphis, electric, trap and even some sound library music for either film or games. Here is an example of hip hop track I've made at home. Now here's an example of a funk track that I've made at home.
Terrifying these niggas, so 666 we like this shit. See, never get jacked so quick. Jack with a Jackson mask on that bitch. Terrifying these niggas, so 666 we like this shit. See.
After college, I would like to become a full-time producer, owning my own studio and working for other artists, other producers, myself, and even to rent out my studio to other artists and producers. Maybe even to potentially start a record label company with some of my mates. I've also applied to some universities of a producing course, for example, Point Blank, BIM, and some more. For this project, I'll be creating a 7-track collaboration EP, potentially 8 if we have more time at the end. Each track will have a different purpose, such as skill improvement and more experience in different genres to help further my music career and skills. Each track will be different in its own way, be that the different equipment or people whom I will be working with. The main thing for my FMP was missing last year was the vocals, so I plan to record them in multiple tracks. The different track ideas I have are: the first track on my EP, the genre will be hip-hop/rap. I've been in contact with a rapper called Ben Riley. He has sent me a stem of a vocal he has used for one of his most recent songs. Ben Riley posted on his Instagram giving consent to all producers to use his vocal stems. I will be using his vocal by mixing it into one of my tracks. I will now play 2 different demos of this track that I have used so far.
I'ma flip it. Yeah. I got my swagger back. I don't need mad at that. Took out a rose did. You gave me the time, I'm giving you mine. We talking my save, I did. She walking around in them JPGs, she had them on when I met her. I step on these niggas in ACGs, I call that shit checking my schedule.
In conclusion of producing this track, it will improve my mixing skills and working with a vocal sample. My second track's genre will be hip-hop/rap. For this track, I'll be working with a rapper, Jago Devance. The purpose of this track is to improve my skills of successfully working with a vocalist and to produce a good vocal audio. This will help improve my skills with working with a vocalist, which I have little experience with. Now I'm going to play a snippet of my track that I produced for Jago Devance to rap over. Plus, for another potential track, Jago and I will produce a new track with using the sound library called Splice. The purpose of using Splice is to stop limiting myself with only using the sounds from Logic. Once the production is done, Jago and I will add some vocals to that second track. This will improve my skill with running a good studio session as a producer. This will give me the experience I need to work with other vocalists in my future. The third track's genre will be UK rap. I'll be working with a co-producer, Antti, in the studio producing a track together. We will produce a track influenced by Sam Rex. Sam Rex's style is UK rap and his tracks are very chill, lo-fi beats compared to other rap tracks. Once this is done, we will take it to the streets and get some footage for a film to go with the track. The fourth track's genre will be electronic. This will be a studio session where I am with a peer, Seth. He has different tastes in music, whom listens to different genres. Seth looks at music in a different way than me. I have produced a track and he will mix it in his style. Seth comes from a lo-fi music background and his mixes are very dirty and muddy because he uses a lot of distortion into his stems. So seeing what he does with my track will be interesting. This studio session will give me the experience to work with other people who have different tastes in music. But now I'm going to play a snippet of the track that I produced. Now I'm going to play the mixed version by Seth of my track. Fifth track's genre will be alternative rap. Like in the first year FMP, my tracks were influenced by Carti, Homicide Gang and Yeet. I have produced a Yeet type beat and downloaded some Yeet vocals for this track. This type of music Yeet makes is hip hop, rap, rage and trap. In his beats he uses a lot of electric drums with 808s and uses synths as the main melody with some effects as well. In this track I will be doing the same as in the first track to successfully sample a vocal into my produced beat. Now I will be playing a snippet of the Yeet type beat I have created with using his vocals.
Fuck the laws, fuck your money, I got all them honey bunnies. I got every type of digit, I got all types of money. Every time I did, I just went I ain't never give a fuck, I just went all this shit is fucking trash, just went
Sixth track's genre will be aggressive rap. For this track I have an old beat of mine made last year in the FMP and it was influenced by Opium Carti songs, meaning fast tempo, dominant bass, loud drums, synths and a guitar as the main instrument. The old track of mine I've chosen is Rageful. I have since gone back to the track to update and improve the mix so it will be usable. This track will consist of using the beat and my mate who is a guitarist. He will record over my track with an electric guitar. This will help improve and show my skills with recording electric guitars over my beats and running a successful session with the guitarist. The final track's genre will be alternative rock. In this track I'll be working with the same guitarist and we will have many studio sessions to produce a new track. My mate approached me with this idea saying, I want to create a track with you because you create your drums so well and so heavy and the bass as well. By merging our drums and the guitar, I think we could create something great. In doing this track, this will push me onto more genres such as rock, which will give me more experience in improving my production knowledge. The primary research I will be using will be through focus groups. The purpose of this is to receive different views, feedback on my work to improve my product. In my focus group, I will be working with peers and get feedback from teachers. Another research I could do is experiment with my production. This will help me try new techniques. Throughout this project, I'll be doing some shadowing and observations to pick up some new techniques used during production. Also with my focus group, I will be doing many one-on-one feedbacks and also some questionnaires. All of these techniques will help me get the answers I need to improve my production. Here I have made a primary research plan for my FMP. The purpose of this is to target the specific topics I need to research. The secondary research I will be using will be through websites, YouTube, videos, and even a book. The videos I'll be watching on YouTube will be influence tracks and some tips on how to produce type beats like the influence tracks I'm using for my reference. For example, the second track I'll be producing with Anti will be influenced by Sam Rec, so we will watch the YouTubes for reference. The first website I'll be looking at is on how to produce a good vocal. The site I'll be looking at is Sound on Sound, which is a resourceful site that's been around for years. The article I'll be looking at is called Capturing a Good Vocal Performance. The author of the article is Hugh Rob Johns. He's been on Sound on Sound technical editor since 1997, before he worked in BBC TV and BBC Technical Training Centre. The book I'll be looking at is called Recording and Production Techniques. This book was written by a guy named Paul White. Paul White has over 15 years of involvement of sound recording, also an experienced writer of all things music, including over books and acclaimed websites like Sound on Sound. By using a book will broaden my sources that I will use for research because I haven't used and researched from a book before. Here I have added a secondary research table. The purpose of this research table is to identify the sources I'll be using as starting points for my FMP. I have tried to look at a range of sources both in primary and secondary research. One practical problem I might run into during the production, I might run into problems with the mixing, not liking it, the effects are not working. One way to solve this problem is that I could research my way out of problems via websites or YouTube videos. Another way to solve this will work around it and retrace my steps and find the error. Another way to solve this is by using my focus groups and getting feedback and help. An alternative way to deal with this problem is to work with it. If the focus groups come back saying they liked it, then maybe I can experiment with it. A theoretical problem I might run into is planning. I have planned that I am creating 7, potentially 8 tracks for my EP, all being collaborations tracks. Everyone else has also got their own tracks to be working on. Doing this may limit the time I have until the due date for the final product. This is the final project and will take to the end of college, meaning other classes will also be doing their final project, meaning the equipment and studios will be in use most of the time. These factors are time limiting. To solve these problems, I have created an action plan, meaning which tracks are going to be produced first, second, third, etc. For the other problem, I'll need to book studios in advance, which I have done. One theoretical problem I might have is struggling to record the process of my production, meaning I could go into production flow and by the time I have finished, I have left it too late to write it down on and why I did in my production. To help jog my memory throughout the production, I can take screenshots of things I do in the track. Another way that could help me record the process down is to live record the process, edit it and upload it to YouTube. 2 ways to do this is by either setting up a camera or screen recording it. The disadvantages of using the camera are that it won't pick up the best audio considering how far the camera is. Plus it won't be clear visual of the screen and what I am doing. By using the screen recording method, it has the advantage of clear visuals at the screen and what I can see during my production. I used a similar method like this for my Project 1 presentation and ran into a problem, being that on the screen recording it didn't pick up any of the sound I was playing, so I had to record and bounce the audio separately. This would be a problem because yes, it worked for the project because it was the final project, but in this project I am recording the process and not the final product. So there will be nothing to bounce out. Someone told me that to use the application QuickTime and when in the studio plug in the microphone. Yeah, this will pick up my voice during the process, but it won't pick up the Logic track. Also, if the Logic track was playing through the speakers, it would pick up feedback through the microphone, which won't be ideal. For the recording of the process, I will write down what I did for my demos and tracks that I've already finished, whereas my tracks I still yet to produce will potentially come out with low quality videos of the process of production. First, for each track, I'll be working with another person and we will have a discussion on different ideas we can approach for the production. For the pre-production, I'll be using my focus groups. This will be the area of using influence tracks and to give some starting points for production. I will be creating an action plan for my work and tracks I will be making. I already have made demos for most of my tracks. So far, I have finished production on 2 of my tracks for my EP. The next track on my list is the Ben Riley track. For this track, I'll be producing it at home, and then after production, I will bring it into college to get my focus group's opinions on it for mixing. This will also be the chance for improvement of my work from feedback they give me. The next track I'll be working on is Rageful. All this track needs is for my mate Josh to record an electric guitar over my beat. After this happens, we will look into adding vocals to the track. Third track consists of Jago adding vocals to my beat, and then it is done. Then the last tracks will start from ground zero and need to get produced. After production, recording vocals, recording guitar, I will be working with multiple people from my focus group seeking help and feedback to mix and how to improve my final outcome. After the mix is done, I will be looking into mastering my tracks and with focusing groups' opinions, and finally I will album sequence my tracks in the right order for my EP. All the equipment I will be needing to use for my project are access to studios, Apple Mac, Logic Pro, Scarlett 18IA20, KRK dual speakers, mic stand, Sub-Zero microphone, XLR cable, DI box, and a pop shield. To be on top of my planning, I've put together an action plan that involves which days I'll be using the studio plus which equipment I will be using. For my FMP EP, each track has a purpose. Each track improves the skill and gives me the experience to work with others because this is a collaboration EP. Most of the tracks I'll be adding vocals. This will not only improve my grade but will also help my practical skills to successfully run a vocal recording session with another artist. Another practical skill I will learn is working with electric guitar, but also recording one over my track. I've never used an electric guitar before with a DI box. This will give me the experience wiring the guitar into the DI box then into the system. Another practical skill I will be doing will be working with samples and mixing them. All of these tracks have a purpose and will improve in different certain practical skills and give me the experience needed for my future career in music industry to work with others, being producers, vocalists, and even guitarists. The approach I'll be taking towards recording a vocal is that I'll be using a pop shield for starters. During the process, I won't rush the vocalist, plus I'll be calm and I'll encourage doing multiple takes if the vocalist doesn't think the previous take fit as well as the final take. Throughout my production, not just talking about my FMP work, but I will be researching tips on how to successfully use different plugins to mix well. For example, how to successfully use compressor. Key skills I will be working on in Logic will be down to mixing. Throughout this project, I'll be doing numerous reflections to get opinions and feedback on how to improve my work for my peers and teachers. At the end of each post, I'll be adding a reflection to which the following post I will act on what the feedback was given. At the end, I will do a final evaluation talking about how I got to where I am, plus how my final products turned out, and what I did and didn't do that I said I would do in my action plan. I will be adding a skills audit at the start and the end of my project to help me for my final evaluation as I compare skills and progress. For my presentation, I'll be uploading weekly posts on WordPress about the process of my work, which will include screenshots, demos, reflections, and more. I will be structuring my posts by breaking it down into pre-production, production, and post-production. In my WordPress, I've added categories of plan, production, and presentation. For my final product, I will be uploading all my tracks onto an EP on SoundCloud, and then I will add the link into WordPress for my presentation category. The way I would structure my EP like this. The first track would be the Ben Riley track. This is starting my EP off with a track with the vocals, which my last FMP track was lacking. The second track will be Suave, which is with Jago Devans, carrying the EP on with more vocals. The fourth potential track would be the second track with Jago Devans. The next track will be the Anti track. This track's genre is hip hop and rap, which is the same as the others. Switching my EP up, I would do the track I've made with Seth called the Kel Effect, switches to the electronic side of my EP, which breaks the flow of repetition, also taking a break from the vocals. Then straight after that, it would be the 1793 featuring Yeats, still with the synth type production, but moving into the rage trap style with my vocal. Then it will switch to Rageful. This keeps with the rage trap type production, plus with an electric guitar. The genre of this track is alternative rock / rap. Then, to finish things off, it will end with the track with me and Josh called Gunslinger. This EP will end on a bang with another alternative rock / rap song. Like I said earlier, my final presentation of my project will be uploaded as an EP on SoundCloud. The covers of each track will be different to one another because each track is different in its own way. This EP consists of multiple genres, so it would be strange to use the same image for all tracks. One reason to use separate images is because each track could be a standalone project. Thank you for taking your time and listening and watching my presentation. Peace!